long-term defensive starters, are you trying to like give your focus to helping everyone, or are you like kind of focusing on the linebackers in particular?
I try to take care of our position group first, and I feel like if we lead by example, other guys will follow. Not to say if I don't see something that's up to the standard, I won't shout it out. But yeah, I try to hold ourselves accountable, and other people will follow.
Obviously, you've been here a while. It's been your reality for a while, but do you ever like take a second to still stop and smell the roses? Ever any additional wow moments as you're heading into your 5th or 6th or however many years?
Yeah, I kind of did it last year because I thought last year was gonna be my last season. So like having done that last year, to be honest with you, this season's kind of been just strictly business. Like I'm coming back for one reason and one reason only. But I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it and doing that. But once the season rolls around and towards the back half, I'll definitely take more time. But right now, pretty locked in on fall camp.
Guys come to you for Eugene Rex?
Say again?
Guys coming to you for like Eugene Rex, the new guys in town?
Yeah. I know we got a good amount of guys that ask me what's going on around here, and I got to let them know there's not a whole lot going on unless you like the outdoors. If you like the outdoors, it's a place to be.
Who likes the outdoors?
On our team, there's Bear. I was talking to Bear the other day after we hiked Spencer's Butte, and he's like, hey, what are the other views around here? So I guess he went out to Crater Lake, and I told him about Mount Pisgah and whatnot, so hopefully he'll get out there.
And then you said that you didn't know you had another year until after that Ohio State game. I know you also said at Big Ten it was an easy decision, but What was the immediate thought process? Were you called into a meeting and they were like, hey, you got another one, do you want to use it? And was it an immediate yes, or did you have to talk to your family, talk to your friends? How did that all work out?
Yeah, well, I can't remember. It was either Coach Lanning or Tosh just like FaceTimed me. They're like, hey, man, you're coming back. And I'm like, hey, now, Coach, just give it some time now. So I talked to my family and thought about it for a couple days. But, I'd be lying to you if I didn't know that night that I wanted to come back. I just had to, tie up some loose ends first.
Bryce, how's the team chemistry been compared to prior years with the incoming transfers and some of the freshmen? Obviously, you guys have the team barbecue. You guys hike Spencer Butte.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about kind of how that helps throughout the season.
Yeah, honestly, I think the team chemistry is as good as it's ever been. Obviously, we've got a lot of new faces and a lot of young guys. But based off everything I've seen, man, guys are connected. We've done a lot of team bonding activities, like you said, and I'm excited. There's a lot of good energy too, a lot of young energy, guys that are excited to play football. So yeah, it should be fun.
Obviously, you're a pretty experienced guy at this point. Are there any shortcomings or lessons from the last couple of years that you're building on this year in terms of improving your personal game or just the team dynamic?
Yeah, I'd say personally, just growing my football IQ and football knowledge. It's easy sitting behind a screen and pointing stuff out on film, but once you get in the game, actually slowing the game down and recognizing it, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of applying my film study to on the field, which is one thing I wanted to pick up. Obviously, putting on weight, I put on 10 pounds, something I really wanted to do. And then team-wise, I'd say just stopping the run. That was a big emphasis that we were talking about in the linebacker room. The most physical team always wins in football. So if we can do that this year, we did an all right job last year. It wasn't quite to the standard. But if we can bring the physicality and stop the run, we'll have a good year.
How special, though, you've been here for so long, you've seen so much, to know that you've got at least 13, 14, 15 games left in the green and yellow.
It's great, man. I'm excited. Like I said, I didn't think I'd be here. I thought last year was my last year, so I'm just grateful I get another one. This is my favorite place to be in the world, so I'm grateful.
You said that it's strictly business. You're here for one goal and one goal only. What's it going to take to achieve that?
I'd say just sticking to my process and the team sticking to our process. We just got to go day by day. We can't look in the future, and just got to worry about tomorrow, worry about tonight, and if we do that and we just take care of the little things, our goal we'll take care of our goal.
You mentioned putting on weight. Obviously, you've kind of been steady to doing that since you've been picking up snaps on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Have you seen your role change with those physical changes? Are you more of a run-stopping guy versus pass coverage, or anything like that?
I'd like to think, and say I'm dynamic. I can do both. I can drop back in coverage and also stop the run. I'm definitely a downhill football player, so when they hand the ball off, I like to go and make the play. That's for sure. But I still like dropping a pass coverage and reading the quarterback. Getting some PBUs and some picks. That's fun also.
How do you balance the desire to light somebody up versus bringing them down and wrapping up?
Yeah, it just takes practice. It takes coaching too. The coach has been on me about wrapping up and taking good angles and whatnot. Sometimes my angles are a little overly aggressive, but I guess you'd rather be overly aggressive than passive. So yeah, just practice.
Do you have an idea about what it's going to be like to be 10 pounds heavier? What does it feel like now?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the strongest I've ever felt. And, I haven't really given much speed either. Like, I feel really good in the spot I am right now. So yeah, I'm just excited, what I can do with this kind of weight hitting someone, because I already, hit pretty hard at 220. I wonder what I can do now at 230.
Like, what does it feel different? Like, what does it feel like when you hit a guy now?
I mean, I'll let you know in a week. I haven't done it yet.
A lot of people are using that secondary. What does that change for you guys as far as making the pass coverage pretty cohesive?
Yeah, it just takes communication and reps. Obviously, you got spring ball, but in spring ball, guys are kind of mixed and matched, and some guys are limited reps because of injury or whatnot. So fall camp will definitely get that chemistry down. But I'm excited. We got one heck of a secondary and a really good linebacker core, so it should be fun.
In the spring, you said being the green dot doesn't really change much for you, but just the fact that the coaching staff trusts you with that position, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. Anytime coach trusts you, that obviously says something. Means my hard work's paying off, and he likes what he sees. But like I said, I always prided myself in being a good communicator before, and whether I had the green dot on my helmet or not, still talking to the guys on the defense, making sure everyone's on the same page. So yeah, I'm just going to keep playing my game, and rest will fall into place.
Another thing you said in spring is that you want to be one of the best linebackers in the nation.
Yeah.
What have you been doing since then to make sure you're one of the best linebackers in the nation?
What have I been doing? I've been doing a lot. First off, obviously, I put on a lot of weight, which I needed to do. My film study has been incredible. Just growing my mental game, which when I'm playing baseball, I don't have a whole lot of spare time to be watching film. Obviously doing my indie drills, working on my pass rush, which is something I need to improve on. And just dialing in, talking to all my teammates, making sure I'm the best leader possible.
Do you feel like the nation is sleeping on you a little bit?
I agree, yeah. I'd say so.
You talked a little bit about it during media days, but when you play baseball, how does the mental game of baseball sort of help you prepare for football and play the mental game of football?
Yeah, I say patience. That's the number one thing in baseball that you need to have is, you can be incredibly prepared and still go 0 for 4. And you can be prepared to go 4 for 4. So you just have to be patient with yourself. Football is a little bit different. Whatever the work you put in, usually you get the output, like you see the results. But even then, there's some times where, you prepare, you make a good read and you miss a tackle. It's frustrating, but you still got to be patient. Or you make a read on a running back and you have to wait just a half a second for the lineman to clear and that gap to open up. You can't be overly aggressive and shoot it too fast, or your window's gone. Not to say you can't be passive, but I think those things go hand in hand.
Bryce, I'm sure you heard Dan say the theme for this year's squad, double down, especially since you've been here as long as you have. What was your reaction to hearing that?
I love doubling down. It just means more money. More opportunity for more money, and who doesn't like more money? So it's a great quote.
Well, and you talk specifically too about just the process working, right, and
Yeah.
continuing to improve and all that other kind of stuff. As someone who's been here
Mhm.
and seen that process, what's your take on just that process working and then improving upon it this year?
Yeah, I mean, comes to show. I mean, what we've done in the past 3 years with his head coaching. I mean, we've just improved every single year as a team, more draft picks. So I think it's just sticking to the process. There's not very many guys that are still here that were there for his first year. Me being one of them. So just making sure all the younger guys understand the culture, what it's like to play football here at Oregon, and what our DNA traits are. And it's easy to talk about it, but it's you got to be about it every single day. So that's where my job comes in. Obviously, I'll hold guys to the standard, but I got to be about it myself first.
You said it's all business, but have you been doing anything outside the field this offseason to kind of keep that competitive edge with the guys? Anything that gets you guys real fired up?
Yeah. I picked up golf a little bit this off season. I've still been hitting in the cages because I love baseball and it's fun. But got to golf a little bit, so that's a good time. Golfed with Dante and Austin, and that's been sweet. Got onto the lake a couple times. Yeah, no, it's been a good offseason.
Is Austin really good? I feel like he's a stick.
Yeah, Austin is good. He is very good. He's really good as Brock Thomas as well.
Okay.
Brock is legit.
Austin said Dante's sort of grown his golf game. How's your golf game been?
It's growing. It's not where it needs to be, but it's growing. I'll give you that much. I've gotten better. I've gotten way better.
Are you a superstitious
Last
guy
question.
at all?
Superstitious,
Yeah,
huh?
you got anything you do before games or anything like that?
Not really, man. I don't know. I feel like preparation. As long as I have my routine, so as long as I stick to my routine, which is part of my preparation, I feel good. I wouldn't say I'm superstitious though.
Yes, sir.